Hello, welcome back to The Best Beverage. Once again, I'm your host, James Wolverton, where we're talking beverages and music and the best way to pair them together. If you like beverages, if you like music, hit the like, hit the subscribe. This episode's for the director. As I mentioned, I've traveled in and out of this genre a few times. We're talking country music. Now, growing up, I knew of country music. Yeah, there was a great show called Hee Haw. It was a variety show based on country music, and I watched it every week with my parents. But unfortunately, that was the extent of what I listened to in country music. It wasn't really on in the house. Grew up in Miami, so not exactly a hotbed for country music. So it was kind of there. I knew of it, but for decades, I had no involvement. So fast forward, I moved to Kentucky, meet this wonderful young lady, the director, but she grew up with country music here in Kentucky. Go figure. So started learning a little more. Garth Brooks was around then, Brooks and Dunn, a whole lot more accessible country music to someone like me. But still in and out. It's on in the background. I'll pick favorite artists, but it's not going to be one of my presets on the radio. It's still just more hard rock and roll, some good soul, some good jazz. But once again, like in soul and jazz, I'm going to pick artists. I'm not just going to listen to it all. And fortunately, one of the ones that she recommended is Chris Stapleton and the Traveler album, and that is one of the ones I will follow in country music because it's a wonderful example of the best that country music can offer. And then genres that aren't my main focus, that's primarily what I do. I find someone who really represents the best of it, and I'll kind of watch and listen to them. And Chris Stapleton, most definitely. So he's born here in Lexington, Kentucky, which is awesome. In '96, he went to Vanderbilt to study engineering, and fortunately, he dropped out to start writing songs. And he's written about, of course, the notes, written or co-written about 170 songs. Now, a few months back, we stayed in Nashville and stayed on Music Row, and yeah, there are just songwriting factories around there. Nashville is amazing, talented, growing construction. If you want a job and you're a songwriter, go in the construction industry. It seems like everything's getting built up around there. It's crazy. But there's songwriters everywhere, and you can make a good living being a songwriter. And what's is wild, from '96 to 2015 is how long he was writing songs or part of it, different bands until he did his first solo release, which is The Traveler, released in 2015. So yeah, that's a long time to be. And also it's the name of his blended whiskey, the Blend 40 that they did with Sazerac. So we'll go ahead and pour that. Get some. Now I have had this before. When it first came out, I was able at one of our local liquor stores, where you can buy just pour before you try it. So this is not a blind tasting. I have had it before. So talk about The Traveler, got released this year. It is a blended whiskey. So blended whiskeys haven't always had a great reputation. The reason why is you can put grain neutral spirits in it. Now this is from Sazerac. They will not release what whiskeys are in here, but they assure everyone there is no grain neutral spirit. I agree with that. I've had grain neutral spirit blended whiskey before, and it doesn't taste anything like this. So I will believe that, and it makes sense based on prior experience. And all the straight whiskeys in here, according to TTB, need to be at least 4 years or older. And once again, I would believe that. And that's the problem. Blended whiskeys, they're not my forte. They're really bland and nothing too exciting. They're just It tastes like whiskey flavored vodka. Really, not that vodka tastes like anything. So yes, whiskey flavored nothing. But this is 90 proof. It's all Sazerac product, all straight Sazerac product. Did the New Orleans glass for this. So it's double walled. And it's lighter. There is some spice in that, which is nice. Kind of light baking spices. Not really fruity, definitely sweet. It's actually a little more fruity on the palate when I'm sipping on it. Light, refreshing. It's mellow, it's nice. It's 90 proof, but it got a better finish than you would think for 90 proof. It's got some lingering notes to it. It's really got some good wood notes to it. So, let's get to the album. So The Traveler was released in 2015 to Rebound, and it was, you could tell he had honed his craft for many decades before he released this, and he put his all into it. It was album of the year for CMAs, won country album for the Grammys. It was great, and it's a reason why I would pick this out of country. It's the songs written, all of them. When country music's done right, in my opinion, it tells stories, it identifies with its listeners, it brings people in. Clever lyrics, which this guy Chris really did. It's just good, make you feel, identify with the characters in the story. The tracks released were Traveler, which, such a good well-written song. Nobody to Blame, which is fun. True country music song. He screwed up. Nobody to blame but me, and the missus is throwing away and burning all his stuff, but he knows it was his fault to do. I'll drink to that. Even pouring out all his good whiskey. Oh, that hurts. Mellow, nice. It reminds me of the last track, Parachute. Such a good song. It's good, and it's got a really catchy, really great guitar lick, and I'll get to that in a second. And then this also, and I had a sip last night to refresh my memory. This reminds me of Jack Daniels, which is Tennessee whiskey, which really propelled this album hugely. It wasn't one of the tracks released, but he did it with the CMA, and it was a duet with Justin Timberlake. It's a great song, and it just took it to that next level. Kind of like, I'm going to date myself, but Michael Jackson's Thriller was great, but once he did the special and he did the moonwalk for Billie Jean, it just went to the next whole level. So for the Motown special, and he did that moonwalk, it took that album from a hit to a phenomenon. And pretty much when he did that duet with Tennessee Whiskey, it just crossed all the other genres. Didn't hurt that JT was part of it, but it crossed all those other genres. So to that wonderful lick that's on Nobody to Blame. Here's my other kind of, it's a gripe. It's a gripe with country music. And I think I know why, but it still irks me. A lot of genres, when you start getting particular about it, have rules or guidelines. There are gatekeepers involved. Country music is certainly not an exception to that. He is a phenomenal guitar player. I had no idea until I saw him live. He was at Kroger Field, the first concert they ever did at Kroger Field here in Lexington, Kentucky. I knew of Chris Stapleton, but the director is the one that said we should go, and on the bill was Sheryl Crow and Willie Nelson opening for him. I'm like, hey, if this guy's only half average, I don't care. I get to see Willie and Sheryl Crow. But he started launching these songs. We're the upper deck, but by the time he's finishing his solos, my jaw's on the field. He's an amazing guitar player. And he's not the only one that you wouldn't know. Vince Gill Amazing guitar player. Never knew until I saw him in concert in Michigan. Brad Paisley, amazing guitar player. I mean, there's some really great guitar players out there, but you don't know it. Country music doesn't let them shine in solo. My thought is it's too much like rock and roll. And you don't want that crossover. You got to fit in this box. So they won't let these guitar players rip and shine, which just aggravates me because I listen to that and there are a couple on here where you get a hint of a solo or you get a really clever riff, little hint of something, but it never broadens out. And it's just a shame that there are gatekeepers like that won't let these artists go and shine. And unfortunately, those are getting broken down. Rock and roll, and definitely hard rock and country music are melding more and more. And I think it's gonna start changing, and it needs to. Because, I mean, good music is good music. Would I really love Chris Stapleton if it wasn't for the director? No, I probably would have known of him. But it was just good country music. That's all. Now, if he was more like on Octane or the hard rock stations I listened to because they let him go really deeper into that southern rock, yeah, probably would, because Jelly Roll's on there, Hardy's on Octane. Know of those guys, but they're blending more, and I'm sure the purists drive them nuts. Purists in every genre. We won't even talk bourbon whiskey or whiskey in general or scotch. Gatekeepers and purists of every genre think they're defending something, but they're really stifling creativity and not letting things go out. Do I love this whiskey? No. No. Would I have bought this if Chris Stapleton didn't put his name on it? Probably not. But it doesn't fit me. At 90 proof and a blend, that's just not going to be in my wheelhouse. But if someone who liked Tennessee whiskey, like a Jack Daniels or something, this is going to be there. And there are a lot of those drinkers. And you should fill that need if it's there. Regardless of someone like, I guess like me or other people on this channel, or these channels on YouTube preaching and trying to, these are how it should taste. It should taste like what you think your customer is going to enjoy. And they'll let you know. If they don't buy it, you've done something wrong. If they buy it, you're fine. It turned out to be a little bit more of a soapbox than it should. But it drives me nuts when people just do these edicts from above and think they're experts, and some of them aren't even involved. I mean, yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, country music tends to be a big offender on it, and they really are stuck. But they're not alone in purists trying to defend what they think the genre or alcohol or something should be, just because based on what makes them feel comfortable. It's silly. It truly stifles creativity, and you get more of a machine just churning out what you think people want versus what they really want. So, Traveler album, amazing. That crosses over to everyone. Traveler whiskey, I have it. It's nice. It's just a little more mellow for me than my taste preference. But if someone came up and said, I really enjoyed that, why wouldn't you? It's a quality product made by Sazerac, i.e. Buffalo Trace, blended by Harlan Wheatley, who was one of the ones, they did 50 different blends, and he picked this out. With those credentials, I can't see why you wouldn't like it. And I believe Sazerac, there's no grain neutral spirits in here. On several tastings, it doesn't taste like things that I've had grain neutral spirits. It's a pleasant, nice whiskey. Sipped and enjoyed. Probably, if I had to have a whiskey when it gets to July, I'll have this, or August when it gets hot. That's my 2 cents. If you like hearing people ramble about, how they're mad at purists and you should drink what you want, listen to what you want, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I will go off on those tangents because I hate stifling creativity in all things. Alcohol and music. Just let it be. The good stuff will rise to the top, regardless what a record company or some expert on these socials think it should be. But I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. It'll be definitely another outside the box music style recommended by a good friend at work. Appreciate it. See you in a couple weeks. Enjoy your whiskey or spirit smartly and enjoy your music loud. See you in a few weeks. Take care.